It's not very often that I get a new product in that changes how I work and that I absolutely fall in love with. But over the last many months, I've been using this, the DJI Mic. And when DJI reached out asking if they could sponsor a video now that this microphone has been out for about a year, well, I couldn't say yes fast enough because this, I think, is an absolute must-buy product. Okay, so if you didn't know, the DJI Mic is a wireless microphone system. So that means you get your microphone, which is the transmitter, and you get a receiver that goes to your camera, your recorder, or anywhere that you want to plug it in. But that is really just scratching the surface. I mean, wireless microphone systems have been around for ages and ages, but there's a few things that this does that are better than any of the ones that I've used before. And it really comes down to, I think, three main things. It's ease of use, it's reliability, and it's the battery life. Those three things set this apart. This is an all-in-one system, meaning everything you need is contained in this one case. So when you open it up, you'll see that you actually get two microphones, these are your transmitters, and you get one receiver. Now, as soon as you open up this case, these automatically get paired to each other, so you don't have to think about doing that manually. A lot of other wireless systems out there, you at least on the first time have to pair them manually, and then after that they work. These ones, you don't even have to worry about that. You just open the case and you're good to go. And because they are wireless, you could take the microphone transmitter, attach it to a person, carry it with you, whatever you need to do with it, and then take the receiver and plug it into, for instance, your camera. And now you are wirelessly sending your audio to the receiver. It's really that simple. Now, real quick, I'm going to talk about the microphone transmitter itself because there is a lot packed into this. First of all, I mean, it's very small, so you can easily clip this to your shirt, you can clip it to a pocket or wherever you need it to go, and it has a microphone built in that you can talk directly into. So unlike some wireless systems, you don't need to plug in a microphone that then transmits. This can be all in one. Although if you want to, you can actually plug in something like a lav microphone into this through the 3.5mm jack. But because this microphone is so small, it makes it really easy to just wear and use. And that's what I've been using for many of the past videos. If I'm not sitting in the studio like this, if I'm out on location or somewhere else, then I have been recording with the DJI mic. And if you've paid attention, you can see that the mic is there and it's just really easy to keep somewhere hidden. There's actually a clip built in, so I can attach it to my backpack, for instance, or to a coat pocket. But if you do want it to be a little bit more hidden, there's actually a magnet that comes with it that you can, for instance, attach to your shirt. And that's what I did for this shot. You can see the little magnet there. If you didn't know what to look for, I think it was pretty hidden, but if you know what to look for, you can obviously see it. And because the clip itself is magnetic, you can actually stick it to different metal things. Maybe you're in the car, maybe you're next to a shelf, or something that is metal, this microphone will just stick to it. It's pretty nice. But it just gives you a bunch of mounting options so that you can, get the best audio possible. In fact, the ease of use of this mounting system really saved me one time. So I was doing a video shoot for a friend who was doing a comedy show. He wanted a video produced of that, no problem at all. But there was an issue with the audio system in the venue that we didn't find out until after the first show. So that meant that the second show was the only opportunity we had to get clean audio. Otherwise, the entire comedy show was a scrap. There's no point in making the video after that. But luckily, I had the DJI mic system and I just clipped it onto his shirt, and if you watch the video you can actually see that it's there, but the audio came out perfect. In fact, if you didn't know that there was a microphone in his pocket, you would think that the audio was coming from the microphone he's holding, but no, it's coming from the DJI mic. It was a lifesaver. By the way, I'll leave the link to that comedy show down below if you want to go check it out. It's from my friend Anthony Jarvis. I don't think he actually knows that there was that big of an issue with the audio, but he doesn't need to know because the DJI mic saved the day. But this system gave me the confidence to know that I could use it in a situation like that and that I could trust it and that it would actually work. And that's because there are a few key reliability features built in that now that I've used them, I can't go without them. The biggest one for me is that there is internal recording in the microphone itself. So yes, it will wirelessly transmit to the receiver, which can be plugged into your camera or into a recorder or anything like that. I'll talk about more about the receiver in a second. And that receiver, whatever it's getting, will record to whatever system it's plugged into, like your camera. But if there's interference or something happens, maybe it cuts out, you never know what might happen. There's actually recording natively on the microphone itself, and you could do both. So that's exactly how I record most of the time. I don't even wirelessly transmit most most of the time, I just record on the microphone itself. And it's nice. There's a little haptic feedback when you hit record so that you know it's recording. Then afterwards, if you want to get the audio off, you just plug it in over USB-C, which is on the microphone itself. And on your computer, it shows up as like a regular flash drive, a SD card, you know, that kind of thing. And you just drag it off. There's no software, there's no app, nothing like that. It just works. And that just gives you the peace of mind that when you need something to record, it will record, whether that be through your camera or through the microphone itself. And it actually has a ton of storage built in. It's got 8 gigabytes in the microphone itself. And that means you can record for 14 hours without having to dump the audio. That's a long time. Now, I think the most important part when it comes to reliability is the sound quality. Does this microphone actually sound good? It doesn't matter if it can transmit, you know, across the world. If it doesn't sound good, it doesn't really matter. But I'll say that the microphone, which you are now listening to, sounds excellent. Now, like I said, I've been using this for multiple videos. If I'm not sitting in front of the camera like this, I have been recording into the DJI Mic. So yeah, I mean, you can hear it for yourself. I think this microphone punches above its weight class and it sounds great, especially compared to a lot of the other similar types of microphone systems out there that have microphones built in. This one actually sounds good. Now, because this is a wireless transmitter, I think a lot of people are going to want to use it in that way. And another part of reliability is making sure that it's actually going to send that signal cleanly. Now, according to DJI, this can go 820 feet before the signal drops. Now, obviously that's with line of sight and making sure there's no obstructions, but that is a long ways away. I've never actually tested the claim that this can go that far, so I've magically teleported out here to the middle of absolutely nowhere. If you see that utility pole, the next one over there, that is about the distance that this thing should be able to communicate. It's really far, but I guess I'm going for a walk. So let's head over there and see if this actually works. So this should be about 400 feet, about halfway from the final destination, and hopefully you can still hear me perfectly fine. I wouldn't be surprised since there is nothing to interfere with it. Although I will say, as we get further and further, there is one thing of peace of mind here, which is that internal recording. I'll keep walking here. And that is, if for whatever reason it does cut out, I am actually recording internally, so it's not gonna be an issue. And that is one of the great things here, that even though, yes, it's wireless, and wireless signals always seem to have some sort of issue at some point, you don't really have to worry about that because you have internal recording. Oh, I just noticed, I don't even know if you can see them. Let me pull out my phone. I just noticed I'm being joined by some antelope friends. These are always so cool to see. Hopefully they don't mind me being here. All right, well, this should be about the distance that we're looking at. I don't even know if this is picking up because I have no one else to monitor the camera, but I'm just gonna keep going and see when it cuts off. But this should be about 800 feet, maybe even a little bit more at this point. And if you see, let's see if I can even, you can see my car over there. It's pretty far. It's a long distance. Honestly, I don't even know what you would be doing at this distance, especially if you're not in the middle of nowhere. But hey, at least you know that it works and that that's something you can, put to use if you need to. Well, I made it back, and that is quite the distance. So really, anytime you need to use this wirelessly, it's going to work really well. And if you have that backup recording as well, which you should always do, you don't have to worry about that. You can record pretty much anywhere you want, and you're set to go. Real quick, I want to hit on the receiver because there's a lot built into this. This is what receives the wireless signal from the microphones. And this you can use in many different ways. I think the most basic way is plugging into your camera. And there's actually a clip that goes into the bottom of the receiver that lets you slide it right onto your hot shoe of whatever camera you're using. And this just makes it really easy. But that's not all it does. If you do, for whatever reason, want to record into your phone, whether that be Android or iOS, there's actually a connector for Lightning or USB-C. And this is something I used in my iPhone 14 Pro video. I was outdoors, it was very windy, so I wanted to use the mic so I could get clean audio, but I was recording with the iPhone for that, so I just plugged the receiver right into the iPhone, and now I was sending the signal directly to my video. And these connectors just swap in and out, and they are stored in the case, so whatever you need, whenever you need it, you're ready to go. And on this receiver is where you can control all the different settings. There's actually a 0.95-inch OLED touchscreen here, and you can swipe through all the settings, all the menus, and everything and get it set up. So you can, for instance, change the gain of the microphones, you can change the gain of the receiver, you can start recording on the microphones themselves. Pretty much everything you need to control, you can do right here on the receiver, and it's pretty simple. And you can monitor audio through the headphone jack. This is very tiny, but it's really full-featured, and I haven't really needed anything that this doesn't do. Now, the last thing about the system that I really like is the battery. Not only the battery life, but how easy it is to charge. So everything is in this case, and the case is all you need to charge. You just plug that in and it charges everything inside of it. but it also has a battery in the case, which means you get excellent battery out of this. The microphones themselves can record for about 5 hours, but you can recharge them in the case 3 times. So you get 15 hours of recording with this microphone. Now, I've never taken like a stopwatch and tested how long the battery life actually is, but I can say this, that in all of my time using this microphone, I've never once killed the battery. I've never even thought about it. I basically just plug it in before a shoot, and I know that it's going to be good to go. And because it's all in one, I don't have to think about like, did I charge the receiver? Did I charge the microphone? Which on other systems is something you have to think about. Here, you're just good to go. So yeah, I'm singing the praises of this microphone, but it's really that good. And I think if you're in the market for a wireless microphone system like this, this is the first place you should look. Now, in terms of things that I think could be updated that would make this even better, there's really only one that I can think of. And it's that a lot of the accessories that come with it that I find myself using don't fit in a case. The main one being this little fluffy dead cat filter. This does not fit in the case. And when you're recording outdoors or even recording with your mouth, you're going to get a lot of plosives, you're going to get a lot of wind noise. So you really do want this, but it's really hard to carry around. Instead, you have to put it in its own pouch, and that just makes it a little less convenient. Is it a deal breaker? Absolutely not. But if they can figure out a way to make this fit in the case for next generation, you're going to be golden. And for me, this particular accessory is what I really wanted to be able to take with me, but I really feel like everything should be able to fit into the case. So your cables, everything like that. If you can really truly fit it all into one system, I think you're going to be golden. But yeah, the DJI Mic, even after almost a year of being out, is still hitting it out of the park. And when it comes to gear and how I produce content, both for YouTube and professionally, this has changed my workflow more than really anything I can think of in the last couple years. So if you want to check out more about this, maybe pick one up for yourself. I'll leave links down below, everything else you need to know. But if you're in the need for a new microphone, I think this is what you should look at.